Streaming, and there it goes. Okay. Um, yes. Feel free whenever you are comfortable doing so, if you are, to just let your eyes softly close and just let yourself be however you are. Whatever the state of your mind, whatever the level of energy or tiredness that you might bring to this moment, whatever the emotions or thoughts that might come up, really just let them be okay. You might see what it's like to imagine, to visualize in your mind's eye what the totality of your body and the position of your body would look like in this moment if you could step outside of your own body and observe your position, your posture, where your hands might be resting, the position of your feet, wherever they might be resting. Seeing what it would look like to see how your arms are arranged. And then moving the point of view back into your body and moving the focus from visual to tactile. You might make some room to feel the places where your body is resting on your seat. Notice those points of contact between your seat and your body. And feeling the way that the chair is holding you up. And taking note of those places of contact between your body and the chair and feeling the stability and solidity of your seat. We borrow a phrase from the prayers of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the High Holy Day season, that picture God seated on what in Hebrew is called a kisei rachamim, a seat of compassion, a seat of acceptance and love. Let your seat, let your posture, let your body be filled with rachamim, with compassion, with mercy, with graciousness. compassion for yourself, compassion for those you are with, if you are with others at this moment, wherever you might be, and compassion for all who dwell on this earth, all who suffer, all who grieve, all who are in want, wanting sustenance and peace and healing for yourself, for this community, and for all who are in need of healing and compassion and kindness and hope. To all that we call in prayer book Hebrew Yoshvei Tevel, all who dwell upon the earth. Going to see what it's like now to take an interest, to be curious about the physical process of breathing. Not thinking about the breath, but noticing it, being curious about it. Following the next in-breath from its beginning to fullness, and then in the same way following the out-breath as the lungs empty. And noticing that moment when the out-breath reverses and becomes the next in-breath. This is what the Torah very early on calls Nishmat Chaim, the breath of life. A breath that you share with all who breathe. A breath that can remind us of Echad, the oneness of God and of life that we declare whenever we sing or read the Shema. A oneness that when we tap into it, when we pay attention to it, can transcend division and difference, reminding us of what binds us together. So we'll take another few minutes just to continue taking an interest in, being curious, following the breath, in-breath and out-breath, and greeting each realization that our minds have drifted off the breath by just returning in that moment of waking up to that kavanah, that intention of being with our breathing. So we're gonna sing together something we haven't sung actually in quite some time. They are words from both Tehillim, from the book of Psalms, and also from Sefer Shemot, from the book of Exodus, from the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, that we just read very recently on Shabbat morning. And the words are Ozi v'Zimrat Yah. Yah, a name for God, is my strength and my refuge. Vayihili lishua, and in this I have found safety. So, it goes like this. Ozi v'Zimrat Yah, Vayihili lishua. 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 One last time. Ozi v'Zimrat Yah, Vayihili lishua. 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 Do take your time, no rush, and let your eyes open whenever you feel like you are ready to do that. And we are going to pick up some of the weekday evening tefillot, the copies of Mishkan Tefillah right there if you need one. And we'll start with Baruch Hu on page 4. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. And on the next page, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach sha'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, ומשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו, Borei Yom Balayla, Golel Or Mipnei Choshech, V'Choshech Mipnei Or, Uma'avir Yom Umevi Laila, Uma'avdil Ben Yom Uvein Laila, Adonai Tzebaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu La'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam, for the blessing of Torah and our heritage of learning and doing. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, u'kim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla negeh yomam v'layla v'yahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please welcome to have a seat. And we are going to continue with V'ahavta. It's over on page 12. Page 12. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'shachbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'od ayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiyot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. On page 16, Micha Mocha, song of the possibility that even when things seem hopeless, even when we despair, redemption can still happen. We can still cross to the other side. So. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef ele malchutecha, ra'u vanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeli anu ve'amru anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam Va'ed v'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch Ata Adonai Ka'al Yisrael. And on page 18, beautiful words, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, spread over us a shelter of your shalom, of your peace. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, uferos aleinu sukat shlomecha, ya la la la, ya la la la, la 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 la, ya la la la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, uferos aleinu sukat shlomecha, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, la 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 la. So we'll move toward the tefillah with the Reader's Kaddish. It's on page 20. Yikada v'yikada shemei Rabba b'yalma divrach yirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon u'vyomechon v'chayerecho beit Yisrael b'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mivorach la'alam u'lamei amaya Yitparach, Yitparach v'yishtabach, Yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei d'kudesha b'richu, Leilam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'yama v'imru amen. Beautiful. So the tefillah starts over on page 74. If you want to rise as is customary, you may. And we'll join in the first few blessings together and then just go off on our own, and you can sit when you're ready to sit. Adonai sefatai tifta ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor B'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor L'Olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol, Ata Rav L'Hoshia, Mashiva Ruach, U'Morid Haka Hashem, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol, V'Rachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, Umekayim emunato lishenei afar. Mi chamocha ba'al geburot, umidom elach, Melech meimid u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'nem'an ata lachayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'roshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Ose shalom bimromav ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imaru amen. Ose shalom imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael ve'imaru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'yakol Yisrael ve'imaru amen. Ose shalom imramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'yakol Yisrael ve'imaru amen. Hey, everybody. Hello. Erev Tov, good evening. Sorry to be at the other end of the football field here. So Torah portion this week is called Turma. Turma means contribution or donation. And it is the opening portion in a series of 5 Torah portions that will take us to the end of this book of Exodus that we are in. And the 5 Torah portions have one overarching theme. And the overarching theme is the building of the Mishkan. Mishkan means it's usually translated as tabernacle, but that's not a very useful word in English because you always think of the Mormon tabernacle choir, right? You know, like what kind of tabernacle, right? Very different. But the Mishkan comes from the Hebrew root shachan, which means to dwell. So the Mishkan is seen as something that dwells among the Israelites that they carry with them. It's a sort of portable shrine that reminds them that God is present in their midst. There's a lot that's been commented on even in the opening few words of this portion, but the part that I wanted to mention for reasons I'll explain in a second, is that God tells Moses to tell the people, Va'asuli mikdash v'shachanti betocham, let them make me a holy place that I may dwell among them. And it says that God says to Moses, tell the Israelites vayhu li truma, that they should take to me, and the odd wording is sort of generates some commentary. Literally, that they should take to me or bring to me truma, donations or gifts, Kol asher yidvenu libo, which means something like anybody whose heart moves them to do it. And there is a lot that's been said about the sort of odd dichotomy or tension between command and volunteerism in this, right? Tell the people that if they want to do it, they should do it, which is a little odd. And a lot that's been said about that. One way that is resolved, and I don't know if it's really resolved, but at least is played with creatively, is this language by who let them take. Normally you would say like lahavi, to bring, right? Let them take li, for me, truma, gifts, is a line of interpretation that says that you are the gift, right? And that all the Israelites need it, bring yourself in the sense of you have something unique to bring to this task, and that's what you should bring. You should bring you, which is lovely. Um, what I wanted to connect that with, and what got me thinking about that, was this past weekend. We took the temple's 11th and 12th graders once again. We before COVID, we did this every other year. The post confirmation class, the 11th and 12th graders, we went to Washington D.C. For a weekend with the Religious Action Center, the RAC for short, it's called, which is the Reform Movement's policy and advocacy office in D.C. The positions that the RAC advocates for are developed. Some of them come out of the Central Conference of American Rabbis. Many of them come out of the lay people in the Reform movement. Every other year, there is this big convention called the Consultation on Conscience, and that's where people. You've been, right? Remember? Yeah. We won a social action. Were you in Sandy Boots that year, right? We have a picture of. Yes, the temple won the Irving Fane. Yeah, somewhere I think over the photocopy machine. It hangs in. Yeah, yeah. So these things are developed, and the Religious Action Center runs this program, this fabulous program. I think 5 or 6 times a year on a 4-day weekend called Litakein, from like Tikkun Olam, right, to mend. And it is a social justice and Reform Judaism weekend in D.C. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And the kids, so we took 10 kids, me and Carly, which was wonderful because post-COVID, it's the biggest group we've had in a very long time. And I have to say, the 11th and 12th graders, when they get to that level, nobody's making them go. Like these are the kids who want to be there. It's like mom's not twisting your arm saying go to post confirmation. Like that's not happening. So this, I mean, delicious, amazing group of kids. You could just eat them up. They're so great, and they spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Shabbat services, and then all these seminars. They do this gigantic, mind-blowingly complicated simulation game called Kesef Koach Upolitika, which means money, power, and politics. And they learn about lobbying, and they learn about, kind of the role of money in politics and how bills are passed, and so on and so forth. And Friday night Shabbat services and Shabbat morning, and like I said, some touring, and then the kids can opt into various sort of elective times where they can learn about issues that are important to them, and it's very well done because the issues that they look at and that ultimately they can choose to lobby on are deliberately issues that have some kind of legislation going through Congress, right? So and then on Monday morning, I have wonderful pictures of this. Part of this packing list is you pack like one like really nice, like you're going for an interview, like those kinds of clothes, which for an 11th grader and a 12th grader is like a big deal. And we take the bus up to D.C. and we visit the officers of our legislators. And it just so happened that there was another group from Texas this year. There was a group from Dallas. So we all got to go to John Cornyn's office and Ted Cruz's office on the Senate side. And it also happens that all the Austin kids are now in Lloyd Doggett's district. I don't remember when I went from Michael McCall to Lloyd Doggett. I didn't notice that happen. But how was it last year? Yeah. It's interesting because you go into Lloyd Doggett's office, and in the sitting room of his office is pretty small, but in the sitting room, he's got this poster of like all the ways his district has been gerrymandered. He's got like all the maps up there. There's the one that kind of went like Harry Potter's scar, down to San Antonio or something. So I think the thing that I mean, I could sit for an hour and tell you stories, and we don't have that kind of time. But what I want to share with you, and it's hard to share if you weren't actually part of this, was how into it they were, and how proud you can be of our kids, and how much they just put their heart and soul into. I mean, it's not like they were, we had a good time, we joked around a lot, but they really worked hard. They were up late on Sunday night, preparing these talks, and the talks have to be, one of the legislative aides have to listen to them, make sure them accurate and whatever, and we went in there, and in terms of this idea of bring me gifts means like bring yourself. I got to lead one of these. All the kids did this 1 hour seminar on the power of story, which they've never done before, and it was a brilliant thing to do, because one of the things they tell them is, if you can tell a personal anecdote in that legislator's office about why this is important to you because it has affected you personally, that's very powerful. And so our kids lobbied on an anti-hate crime, it's not just anti-Semitism, it's basically this legislation about like the people, when they, of all places, people should be safe in their houses of worship. I can't remember, it's got one of those clever congressional names. I can't remember what it was. So they talked about that, and the kids talked about the arson at the synagogue and all, and they lobbied on, what's the word I'm looking for? Election, what's the term that everybody uses? Well, not election reform, but strengthening voting rights. That's what I'm looking for. No, voting rights. And we have one. This is like, if you saw this in a movie, you'd go, no, a kid wouldn't do this. Right? We have one junior who is obsessed with gerrymandering. I mean, before this trip, and knows everything there is to know about gerrymandering. And he was so. It was like, forget the Super Bowl. I get to talk about gerrymandering. It was like he was so excited about about gerrymandering. And then there was a piece of legislation there is a piece of legislation, it's been bouncing around Congress for a while, actually, it's up again, that would increase funding for mental health services in schools. Can't remember what it's called. There wouldn't be a dry eye in the room if you heard the kids get up and talk really passionately about, and get personal, and talk about like, I've been through an eating disorder, or I have depression or whatever, and it's not enough, the school guidance counselors, and you don't really feel safe going to them because you're not sure how confidential it really is, and is it going to go on your record and all that. And so this idea of like, Vaikuli Truman, what you bring is the li, is the me, it was just exemplary of that. And it's something where I sort of wish I could take every member of the temple board on a trip like this, so that they would remember, beyond the details and the spreadsheets and the budget and all those things that are so important, like this is what you're supporting. Plus the fact that this group of wonderful Jewish kids bonded. It was a remarkable, like there were no cliques, there were no like they were all buddies by the time it was over, which is great. So it was beautiful, and they really did do that thing of they brought themselves, and it was beautiful. Anyway, I wanted to share that. Aleinu, yeah? Page sticker on the inside back cover. It's not funny anymore. It is so not funny, and I keep singing it. All right. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latekinu la liyotzer bereshit, shehu sanu k'shomrei ha'adama, v'hu samanu k'shlichei ha'torah, shehu samchayenu itam, v'goraleinu im kol ha'olam, v'anachnu korimim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, v'yom ha'hu, v'yom Adonai echad, Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo echad. Page 598, we have Kaddish. Anybody have anyone that they wanted to mention? Was this recent? Oh, I did not hear about that. Oh, I did not know. Really, one of the just foundational members of the congregation. Yeah. Okay, so Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba v'yalmad divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agala uv'yizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach la'olam v'la'omei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudasha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Okay, so I'll come over here because we can't make a circle, but we can do this at least. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Here you go. Oval. An oval. Help us to remember and hold in mind that each of us is a unique and new creation. As rabbis say, were there anyone else just like us, there would have been no need for us to be here, to be born. And to remember that we have these gifts of mind and heart that are endless and bottomless, and that we can share with others for their good, for our good, and for the good of the world. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may the Holy One bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chonecha, may the Holy One shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God be with you and help you to find peace in a world, we pray, soon at peace with itself. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
I wonder where Joel is. He's at every one of these things.
I can give you a ride home, Chippy.
You can? Thank you.